Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is March 4th. It is Holi, the Indian festival of colors. So, happy Holi, everyone. And let's go ahead get started for today. Today's Sadhguru's insight was, of course, in the spirit of the Holi. And he said, if you are a little playful with life, every moment is a celebration. And that's the point I think he was trying to make, given that today is Holi and everybody is in a celebratory mode. However, if you are a little playful with life, life is a play. And as I applied the real wisdom artificial intelligence lens to it, today's dose of Rashmi is unconscious intelligence treats life as a serious affair, with weekends and special occasions reserved for being playful. Wisdom, on the other hand, is the realization that every moment of life is a celebration just for being alive. Now, as I've been doing this month, the three-layered hierarchy and the demonstration of that, keeping up with the theme around how we treat work and the three layers of work that I wrote about earlier in the newsletter this week. So from a layer one of the Rashmi identity hierarchy, if you're operating at that, we end up taking on all these responsibilities and end up becoming serious in life, where, yes, there are all these responsibilities, family. Then you have a title, you are responsible for running the business of the company, and life starts becoming very serious. You think you are making it all go around. There's all of these responsibilities on your head. You have to be serious. You have to approach work very, very seriously. And that's how you go about life. And then on weekends, special occasions, you kind of exhale and you go on vacations, which then leads to the concept of work-life balance. However, when you are so dead serious all the time, and majority of the time when you're working, then when there's time for relaxation or time with family, time with the loved ones, what invariably ends up happening is you take out your frustration, your anger with your loved ones, because you are not able to do that in the work setting. You think about it. Now, moving to layer two, this reminds me of what I've talked about last week as well. This career advice related to monetizing your misery. So that is how layer two mindset operates. That they accept that yes, work is supposed to be serious. However, you're doing it in order to monetize your misery, and then just like the person who shared this particular advice, they have a side of them that is outside of the work persona, which is very jovial, very happy. They live life to the fullest outside of the working hours. And that's where the popular mantra of work-life balance, that work hard, party hard. So you're very, very serious while you're monetizing your misery, and you are very, very exuberant when you are doing something else, which is based on what gives you pleasure. So this is where, if you really think about this, and the example that was used during this podcast was of monetizing the misery was somebody who's a heart surgeon. Or let's take any doctor, for example, not just a heart surgeon, if since that was the example that was used. If we take any doctor, for example, if they are treating their work as something that they're miserable with, and that's how they're treating a patient, I think the quality of care will show. If I am a patient, I don't want to go to a doctor who's treating profession as something that he or she is miserable about. I want to go to a doctor who approaches it because that's what they're truly called to do. And that is the difference. I'm not saying that you have to do something that only brings you pleasure, and that should be the idea of work. Yes, there is serious life-saving work that people have to do. However, you don't have to be miserable doing it. For some people, that is their passion. That is what they feel they are called to do, and those are the most successful doctors. I can draw a parallel to this in terms of startup founders. Any investor who's investing in a startup founder, they invest in the team. They are trying to gauge the founders and how passionate they are about their ideas. It's rarely about anything other than that. When an investor is investing, they're trying to see if the startup founder is really passionate about what they are trying to do or not. And if they are, usually the chances are they'll get the investment. If they are not, if this is, if they're just approaching this problem with an idea of creating a monetary outcome, that usually comes through when you're talking to the investors, and most investors do not invest in that type of an idea. Coming to layer 3, this is the idea that I have been talking about in terms of the aligned action and aligned work. That is, when you're operating at layer 3, that is how you approach work. And at that point, work becomes a play. It is no longer miserable. Whatever you're doing, it is energy enhancing, as I have repeatedly talked about in this series. And then you wake up every day excited about the chance to work on what you have to work on. You're grateful for the opportunity for doing what you're doing. And that is the type of work that AI cannot threaten. Thank you.